I saw that some people were being given money, even though they have condemned the government, previously. But the moment they get that 1,000 or 500, their minds are changed. So this issue of serious advocacy, serious teaching, I have made up my mind that we need to relocate from the villages, from the towns, and begin to go to the villages for proper education of our people. Our people need to be educated. Our people need to be enlightened. They need to be told that, look, if a government has not visited you for the next 3 or 4 years, and they're only coming to you now because the election is around the corner, that you need to reject them. That rejection, that teaching is very, very critical. I saw it happen live, where people are being given some small amount of money. Some before that time, some got some salt, some got pepper, some got Indomie. And then because of that, it now, turned their mind, so this is a person that remembered me at this time, I'm ready to go and vote for that person. So serious education is very key. Then getting the right people also to go for public office. Most of us that sit down on television to analyze, need also to know that we need to put all these things we're analyzing in practice in our various places by contesting for public office and begin to do it right. Because it is easily precise and say, oh, this government is not doing well and all that. Do you have that desire yourself to enter into public office also in order to do certain things for this nation?
But not everybody can be in politics.
No, all of you cannot. But then you can also enter, into alliance with people that have, an antecedent that can do it right,
and then get it. Them. That's what you're saying. And be able to guide them.
And be able to guide them.
But who guided these people who were in office and they abandoned several projects? You were in responding to a question by Chamberlain the other time. You talked about award of contracts.
Yes.
In 2011, President Jonathan at the time set up a committee, Project Audit Commission or something, and they discovered that about more than 11,000 federal government projects are abandoned. One of them is the one set up in 1979 by the government of Obasanjo, the Ajaokuta Steel Rolling, and also reviewed by the Babangida government. That project is still abandoned today, and there are almost 12,000 like that. How do we ensure that such kind of thing does not continue? Because we have wasted millions of resources. I
agree with the issue of transparency in governance is key. If government has this project, maybe they have up to 20 projects they want to execute in a state, and the people themselves know that these projects are being handled by the government, and then they follow up. Issue of follow-up is very key. The people must follow up and say, this project, it has been awarded. Can we know how much you have awarded this contract? Can we know the contractor? And then you follow up with this contract, ensure completion. And when it's completed, you also make a report. The people themselves must be alive. Because I found out, I have this particular road, Ikuano, Ekotebene Road. Almost every government, starting from Obasanjo up to this date, have awarded that contract. And most time, it is being reported that Ikuano Road has been completed. But never, if you go there today, I just raised this issue now, I heard that FEMA is there, and now they're trying now to patch and all that, The road is just, look at the width. Look at the width of that particular road, a whole federal road. Meanwhile, from Akwa Ibom, from Uyo, coming to Maya, the former governor himself, Akwa, expanded it. He did it on behalf of the federal government. But the one from Ariam to Umaya, look at the width. And every year we keep on hearing that particular road has been awarded, but never completed. So I think that the people also must also take some level of responsibility by ensuring that any contract that is awarded, they know about it and they follow it up. And if there is any abandonment, you have to raise alarm that this contract has been awarded, so much money spent, but the contract has not been completed. So issue of awareness of the people, the alertness of the people, to me, is very key. So issue of abandonment will not happen if there is transparency. So I think that what the people should now do, that anytime a contract is awarded, the people there must be consulted. There must be that communication that we have awarded this contract to. That's transparency I'm talking about. And this is the amount of money. And this is the contract sum. And this is the contractor. And this is the completion date.
Barrister Ubani.
So the people must monitor it.
Barrister Ubani, you've talked about access to the treasury.
Yes.
You've talked about getting the right people in politics.
That's right.
from the possibly the primaries.
Yes.
And you've also talked about the possibility of having a more united, harnessed government.
Mm-hmm.
These things have all links, starting from the politics, the primaries, and how you can have access to the treasury after you've won the primaries, and how you try to tackle poverty. Which is the bane of elections today, because with that 1,000 naira they give you,
Yes.
a party that you never wanted to vote it in the first place because you got the salt, according to you.
Yeah.
You now change your mind.
Yeah.
This seems to be the cycle every other year.
Yeah.
In solving this, what will be your recommendations? Number one, how do you get the right people into office? You've said that even we that are analyzing this every day should go there. Have you considered the money? Have you considered what it takes to run an election?
That's right.
Have you tried to run an election to run for office yourself? So in that light, what's the way forward?
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of work. I certainly agree with you. It's going to be a lot of work because issue of money is playing a very vital role in Nigerians' election. So if you don't have the money, the issue of success, is very low. But I think that we must try as much as possible to get to the grassroots. Sometimes it may not even be issue of money. When they see you in the rainy season and they see you during the sunshine and all that, and you are now coming to ask them to give you that vote, they will. Look at, I know Oba is a multi-millionaire, but I tell you that Oba, the man Rifeanyi Oba that won, with an unknown political party, is a grassroots individual. Are you following me? There are a lot of people that have won this election because of the fact that they have identified themselves with the people. And so when the now time comes, you may not spend all that money because you have been with them under rainy season, under sunshine, and now you are not coming to ask, and they know your antecedent. Most times they can change their mind and say, let's give this person an opportunity. What happens most times is that we come from nowhere with so much money and we want to do, and they are ready to take that money from you.
Him compared to other analysts,
yes.
the gap is wide.
Now he has the pocket. I know, I agree with you. Let's be sincere. To play politics anywhere in the world, involves money. I agree with you. But what I'm trying to say is that try as much as possible now to be reaching to your people.
No,
because
what you need to do is to reach to your godfather. Is that right?
Well, reaching godfather is a wrong
because you need the money.
No, it will keep us into problem. It will keep us into bondage. And that's what has kept this country today the way it is. Reaching to the godfather, who when you come in will not allow you to work. And we have many areas in this country today where the godfathers have not allowed their godson to work. So what I'm saying is that for us to really change our political landscape as a country, I would rather recommend that people like you, those who have an idea of what governance is all about, should get closer to their people and begin to interact with them so that when you are now coming to ask for vote, they know this man has always been with us. Because without that method, we will remain the way we are.
Did Godfatherism play a role in this election?
Sorry, say that again.
Did Godfatherism play a role in this election?
It's still playing. Godfatherism is still playing a role. In some states, there are still godfathers, there are still godsons. And that's why we may not have good governance.
And it depends on what the governors do, actually.
Yes.
It depends on what they do.
Yes.
I mean, it's not all of them that will dole out money to you.
Yes.
Some of them could just give you some sort of guidance.
Or even the structure. Or even give you structure. Are you following me?
But that all amounts to Godfatherism.
Yes. They give you structure,
but
give you the money.
Is the concept of Godfatherism a good thing?
Well, sometimes you have to have a mentor in life. That mentor is the right word. But when you use the word godfather, it's a problem. But when you use the word a mentor, beautiful. It's better you have a mentor who will teach you what to do certain, at times and all that. So it's critical. But having a godfather whose role is probably he doles out the money and now he regards it as an investment, not allowing you to perform. Anytime you get money, you share with him and all that. Is that part of that godfatherism I don't like. But if you're a godfather to teach somebody as a son, come up and make sure that you give people good governance. I don't have problem with that. It will also make your name to be in the good books, even as a godfather. But the godfatherism we have today is that when they give you this money, they regard it as an investment and will not allow you to perform. There are a lot of things that the president needs to do. Issue of not making it easy to have access to treasury. I want the president to do it. I also want the president to carry out a reform of our electoral reform. Now, the new law was passed, but the president did not sign it. Before he leaves power or he is sworn in, I want that particular law to be passed because if he enters into the next legislative session, he dies and they have to start afresh. There are a lot of amendments.
He can sign it.
He can sign it here because it's already done. The president can sign it before before the next legislative time. He has to do it. And then the issue of ballot snatching, ballot thumb printing and all that will reduce considerably when we now begin to operate our electoral system electronically. Making sure that we don't have so much interaction of the human being and all that. This is one area I want the president to look into. The issue, again, of FDIs, having a stable system that is working. When they see that it's peace in your country. The president needs to reconcile with all the warring people, those political opponents, and create an atmosphere of peace. Because the investors are there now watching Nigeria whether we can maintain and sustain our peace. They want to come in with their money. FDIs is very important. We want industries to be functional so Nigerians can be employed. But when the investors see that the country is not stable, there's no peace, and know that they will not in any way invest their money, then issue of power. I am kneeling down for the president. If there is anything Mr. President will do for this nation that will be a legacy, is to deal with this issue of power. We have the issue of generation.
But they've been no.
Yes.
You see, when you talk
there
about
is no structure.
When you talk about power, a lot of people are passionate about it.
Yes.
And you say that this government has been dealing with the issue of power since it came into office.
Yes.
We have to measure what we had at the point which they came.
Yes.
And I think we had just about dwindled between 3,200 to 4,000 megawatts of electricity. And according to what we hear from the Minister of Power and Housing, Mr. Babatunde Fashola, we have taken that to there about 7,000 megawatts of electricity, 2,000 of which have not been uptaken.
Right.
He has called on the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria to uptake that figure, but that hasn't happened up to this time. Right. Are we kidding ourselves? Or are we making concerted efforts to try to see that the efforts of the president is not undermined? Right. Can we move from 7,000 megawatts to 40,000 like we have in South Africa?
That's right.
These are the questions Nigerians are asking. Beautiful. Because if we have that in place, we have the electricity.
Yes.
Can we move and be realistic to ourselves and tell ourselves the truth that in the next 4 years, we'll get to a point where we have at least 20 megawatts of electricity?
Beautiful. It's a very important question, And as I said earlier, power is key. If for us to make any progress as a nation, if we solve this power sector issue, I can assure you that Nigeria will be on the verge of making progress. Now, there are three: structure, the generation, the transmission, and the distribution. Now, which of those areas have we been able to handle perfectly that any expert in power will look at and say Nigeria is on the verge of growth in the sector, power sector? The generation has an issue. You have not, you partially, privatize it, but what is the efficiency level of that generation sector? The worst of it all is transmission. The transmission is still with the inefficient government bureaucracy, which we know, government, in Nigeria to be. You are still not having sorted that issue of transmission. Then the distribution itself has an issue. The issue of metering. Okay. The issue of estimated bill. So many issues.
Can't stop if we keep going.
No, but we're here.
We'll reach out to Mr. Fashola on this one.
Yeah, because and I want the power sector to be separate from works and land.
Okay.
We want that particular reason to.
That's three in one.
3 in 1. I don't want a situation where the president will return that and all that. So power to me is critical. And kneeling down for the president, if he can solve power sector, if the president can solve power sector, at the end of 4 years, Nigeria will be clapping for President Buhari.
All right. Not for the third term.
I see Kazim.
Not for third term. No, for he must solve it here.
Kazim agrees with you that the people have a role to play, basically, in all of this. So that's how far we can go for this segment. We'll be back in a moment. Don't go away.